Hello, Scary Dolls.
Hello.
I'm Mandy.
I'm Ashley.
And we are missing our third sister. So our Gato had to take some personal time off.
Yeesh.
So this is a filler episode.
Yep.
But she's still going to be able to interact with everybody on Facebook. So,
Yes.
and, well, social media.
Social media.
Yes. So this is a filler episode. We're just going to go ahead and jump on right in. Harp on in. And we are going to be reading 2 stories from the occultmuseum.com. We will be putting the link in our description of our podcast episode. So you can click on there. There's all these spooky stories. They're very scary. Ashley was scared reading through some of them.
Yep.
Obviously. So what we're going to be reading is House of Horrors, people who share their true haunted house ghost stories. So we found 2 creepy ones that we want to tell, or we want to read to you guys. So we hope you enjoy.
And be scared, like me. Okay, thanks.
I have the lights off.
She wanted to turn the other one off, and I said, look, that's pushing it. I'm good with this one. We're good.
We're good.
Yep.
I love you, Gato. We miss you.
We miss you, Gato. Okay, so mine is called The Photograph. And apparently it's a son who's telling a story that happened to his father. My father told me a couple of years ago about this one event that freaked him out. It was around 2002 when we had just moved into a new house. My dad was unpacking while my stepmom was at work and I was at school. My little brother was homesick and sleeping in his bedroom. So my father is unpacking and he found his old Polaroid camera. So he starts to play around with it. He decides to sneak into my brother's room and get a cute picture of him sleeping. I think he was about 6 at this time and he was like super adorable. He opens the door and sees my brother curled up on the edge of the bed and sleeping beside the window. His face is turned away from my dad and against the glass. My dad is standing by the door and snaps a picture quietly and closes the door. As the picture develops, my little brother suddenly comes out from the bathroom at the other end of the hall, crying because he's sick. My father stands there astonished and knows there is no way my little brother could have gotten from the bedroom to the bathroom in a mere seconds without being seen. He opens the door as quickly as he could to check inside, and nothing is there. The clincher is the picture. After getting my brother settled and back to sleep, my dad takes a look at the photograph. What should have been my brother sleeping with his head turned away became a picture of a little boy facing my father. The lower half of his face was blurry and red. My dad doesn't believe in ghosts, but he was pretty freaked out. He showed the picture to my stepmom and my sister. They kept it in a box in their bedroom and apparently used it as a nice conversation piece for a few years until we moved out of the house. One of our basement walls actually collapsed and was unsafe to live there anymore. It seems to have been lost in the move. I've never personally seen this picture myself, but loads of my family saw it and they all agree it was really creepy. And we never experienced anything else abnormal in the house though, just the photograph.
Can we react?
I know.
Guys, seriously, for the bonus episode, we were really going to try to read it straight through, but we have no idea what each other picked. So I think we have no choice but to react to each other's stories.
That one was creepy. Can you imagine,
I was sitting there, with my eyes open. I was all...
what the heck was staring back at him, dude?
I would have burned the picture. Burn it.
Burn the whole house after that.
Burn everyone.
That's creepy. I don't like that. I didn't like that one.
So my story is called The Girl Who Lives in the Walls, and this was actually entered in by Ron Rule. So it was entered in by a man. This is from a man's perspective, not for mine. Everybody knows I have a husband.
Just FYI.
Just a
disclaimer.
A little disclaimer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. When my wife and I bought our first house, an old Victorian style built in the 50s. Almost every night we heard what sounded like a kid's footstep running down and up the hallway and other random sounds. My wife mentioned it to one of the neighbors, and they said it was probably just peacocks on the roof because the whole neighborhood had peacocks everywhere. The house backed up to a conservation area where wild peacocks lived, and they would occasionally get up on the rooftops. That answer made sense, so we basically got used to it and eventually ignored it. Less than a year later, our son was born, and he was the one that would balance all of his toys on top of other toys, and something would make them spin. We would literally find them in the center of various areas. He would walk around circles, and at one point, there was a few toys that would just turn on themselves and just keep rotating. It was the weirdest thing, but the coolest thing I had ever seen. When he was 2 or 3, we would hear him talking in his room at night. And one night, I asked who he was talking to, and he said, Tracy. I asked who this Tracy was, and he says, the girl who lives in the wall. She's usually nice, but sometimes she scares me. He described a girl with brown hair in a yellow dress who would play with him sometimes and occasionally wake him up at night, but he wouldn't seem bothered by any of it, just startled sometimes. He would talk about her once in a while, but it wasn't a common occurrence. A couple of years later, we had added on to the house. I moved the master bedroom downstairs, switching the kids' rooms around. Our youngest was now in his old room and about ready to transition from a crib to a toddler bed. She had always been a sound sleeper, but she cried almost every night in that room. Her first night in the toddler bed, we heard a loud thud, followed by screaming, and we rushed into the room thinking she had fallen out of her bed. She was on the other side of the room. We calmed her down. We put her back into the bed, and it happened again the next night. So we ended up switching the kids' rooms back, and they were fine. We looked up the history of the house. We didn't find anything about any missing little girls or anyone named Tracy that had lived there. Eventually, our son stopped talking about her, and a few years later, we ended up taking a job with another company, and we moved. The house was empty for a few months after we moved, and the neighbor across the street called my wife one day and said that 1 week after we left, she thought she saw our daughter looking out the window, so she waved at her, and then she remembered that we don't live there anymore.
What?
So, basically, we don't know if this Tracy is a ghost or alive.
What the hell? So it could be like she literally might...
It could be like a literal person living in the walls, or it could be like a spirit that the kid was seeing.
Oh, hell no, dude. Like, I think the actual person is even scarier.
Yeah. But also, too, like, how he said he heard a thud. So, like, did she throw the girl off the bed? Or maybe, like, the daughter saw her and freaked out and fell off the bed? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Because they said she was on the other side of the room.
Yeah, they said that they heard a thud and a scream, and she was on the other side of the room crying.
Maybe she saw her freaked out and then ran to the other side of the room, or she could have been thrown.
Maybe.
That's creepy.
Those are 2 of many stories that are on the Occult Museum website. Y'all need to go and check them out. Y'all need to go and get creeped out and cry in the corner of your bedroom.
And don't move into new houses, apparently, because that's when shit happens.
And if you move into a Victorian home, make sure that there's no people living in the walls.
Yes. Get the plans. Get the blueprints.
Get the plans. Get the blueprints. Get everything.
You know what that reminds me of? Did you ever see that video? I don't know where. It was like, I forgot, it was on the news or something. And this guy, he would like buy stuff like from the grocery store, and he would see like most of it would be like half eaten, or like chips or something, like a bag of chips would be open even though they weren't. So he put a camera to see like maybe it was rats or like something like that. Well, there was an actual person like living in his attic. And she would come down, and she would, because she was homeless, and so she lived in the attic, and she would come down at night and like eat food.
I did. I saw that
right?
video. Yes, it was creepy. And she would like pee in the sink. Yeah. Yeah. Nope, not doing it.
I was like, what the fuck?
We are sealing our attic up. Nope.
I told Nick, I was like, no attic. I was like, no attic and no damn basement. I'm sorry. And he's like, every house has to have an attic. I was like, nope. If there's an attic, I don't want it.
We're not getting no insulation. We're freezing our asses off.
Yep. I was like, no thanks.
Okay, guys. So this isn't a regular episode. This is just a filler episode. It's going to be fairly short, but we hope you enjoyed our stories. And Gato also wanted me to let you guys know she loves you guys. She just needed some personal time off, which, you know, we're all allowed to do that.
We all need some us time every now and then.
Yes, and I always need my own time. So after this, I'm going to go take a nap. But as always, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok is still there. I checked 4 times today. Make sure you look on our website, scarynotScaryPodcast.com. If you have any other suggestions on bonus episodes you would like for us to do, we would love to hear your suggestions. Send your suggestions to us either through our messengers through like Instagram, Facebook, however you want to send it to us. Or you can also email us at scarynotScaryPodcast@gmail.com. And make sure to rate and review us on iTunes, follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. Podbean, yes. Make sure you download Podbean, follow Scary Not Scary Podcast, because that's also where we post our episodes. You can also message us through Podbean and where we do our live shows.
Yeah.
So make sure you do all of that, please.
Like right now. Like, go do it.
Like right now. Why are you still listening? Go do it right now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And remember to always stay scary.